A special thank you to Faith Grace. Grandads Adventures in His Magic Car, written and illustrated by Faith Grace. Grandads Adventures are stories I told my children at bedtime. They loved them so much that I wanted to share them. They're full of wonder, adventure, problem solving, and emotions. My little ones would simply fall fast asleep. Yes, it's Saturday. That only means one thing. Granddad is coming to take us out. Mom, what time is it? Wait, I can hear Granddad's car outside. Granddad opens the back door, and before he can even walk through it, the kids have their coats and wellies on. Come on, Mum. We need the car seats. Once the seats were fitted, they were off on an adventure in Granddad's new car. What the children didn't know is that Granddad's new car was magic. Buckle your seatbelts, children. We're off on an adventure. Granddad started to drive towards a big lake. Watch out, Granddad, we're going into the water. Granddad pushed a green button and his car turned into a submarine, and they drove into the lake. Shh! Don't wake up Big Bad Boris. Who's that, Granddad? You'll see. They reached the other side of the lake and came out of the water. Granddad's car turned back to normal. Wow, that was great, said the children. Wait, Grandad said, the adventure isn't over yet. They looked through the window and saw a very huge mountain in front of them. There was a storm raging at the top. Grandad smiled at them and then pressed a big red button. Grandad, shouted the children full of excitement. Granddad's car turned into a helicopter and they flew up the mountain. When they reached the top, the door opened. They could see right into the middle of the storm. What they didn't see was two little birds climbing into the helicopter to escape the storm. Grandad closed the doors and they flew back down the other side of the mountain. He then pressed the red button again for the car to return to normal. Wow, your car is amazing, Grandad, shouted the children. Grandad put his finger to his mouth. Shh! He locked the doors and turned on his lights. We had to go through the deep, dark woods. Now I have to really concentrate. If we wander from the path, we'll be lost forever in the maze of trees. Everyone went very quiet. Grandad entered the woods. They were very dark and spooky. Strange noises and shadows came from all directions. After what seemed like an eternity, they reached the other side. Phew, Grandad, that was scary. Yes, it was, but we made it. Look, said Grandad. Before them was the most beautiful meadow full of wildflowers and butterflies. Oh, Grandad, this is so amazing. Grandad stopped the car and said, Come on, then we're having our picnic now." They all climbed out and helped Grandad set up the picnic. Fizzy pop, ham sandwiches, chocolate cake, crisps, and biscuits. "This is the best, Grandad," said the children. Filled with joy, they chased the butterflies and picked the flowers until they had finished their picnic. They cleared up and got back into the car. Grandad then drove them to the park. Whilst they were playing in the park, two little birds came up to them, crying. "What's wrong?" asked the children. "We're lost," said the little birds. "We climbed into your flying machine at the top of the mountain, and now we don't know our way home." The children quickly picked up the little birds and ran to tell Grandad. Grandad knew exactly what to do. They all got back in the car with the little birds. They drove back through the beautiful meadow, then into the deep, dark, spooky woods. When they reached the other side, Grandad turned the car back into a helicopter. They flew back up the mountain. The storm had passed by now. They could hear the little bird's mummy crying. "Where are my babies? I can't find them anywhere." The children opened the door and out jumped the little birds. "We're here, Mummy. We're safe. We hid from the storm, and these kind people have brought us back." The little mummy bird couldn't thank them enough. "We're happy to help," said everyone. Then Grandad closed the door and they flew back down the other side of the mountain. He then turned the helicopter back into a submarine and drove into the lake. This time Big Bad Boris was awake, and so they had to be extra quiet. Halfway through the lake, Boris spotted them and started to chase them. "Faster, faster, Grandad, turbo speed," shouted the children. As they just reached the other side, Boris jumped out of the water and nearly bit the back end of the submarine. "Grandad, that was close." Grandad laughed as hard as he could. "Have you enjoyed your adventure, children?" "Yes," they shouted. "Can we go again?" "Not today," said Grandad. "I think that's enough excitement for one day." When they came back, they couldn't wait to tell Grandma about their adventure. Magic car. Grandma didn't believe them and said that they had very big imaginations and that they should settle down and eat their tea. Magic car, ha ha. Whilst eating their tea, they laughed and joked with Grandad about what they had seen and done on their adventure. Grandad then returned them home until their next adventure. The end. Please support this author by buying her book.